Good morning, all of you. First of all, I am very thankful to you. Uh, I am very thankful to you because of you giving me this ample opportunity. Uh, this is Shahajd from India. My research topic, my paper title is Object-Oriented Design of Learning Apps. This is my outline. First one is introduction, second one is literature review, third one is challenges, and then motivation, learning ingredient, and then blueprint of our proposed model, and then findings and conclusion. Introduction. Today's learners are referred to as a digital natives or digitods learner, and they are come under the touch screen generation. Touch screen provides some unique affordances as it was never seen ever before. Learning apps or educational apps are one of the supporting logistic facilitators of such touch-based devices. What is learning app? A learning app is generally a small web-based or downloadable software application that typically work on any portable device, and it is designed to support learning. These applications on touchscreen devices have the potential of revolutionizing early childhood education and help to build a strong base for lifelong learning in the 21st century. Moreover, these apps can improve existing students' experience, as it was seen in one research it's conducted by the Nicolo Pulo, and it was seen that the growth or the gain of the learners has been increased up to 65% as compared to a non-app learner. Most importantly, these apps place student at the center of education rather than the teacher. It was the requirement of our teaching, uh, because the teacher centered learning is being doing in these days. So app is supporting the learner centered teaching. Recognizing the significance, it is suggested that teachers, curriculum planners, policymakers, administrators, and caregivers become involved in this new trend of mobile learning. Despite of these aforementioned significances, there is some research-based evidence behind the fan following of these software in the current scenario. Among the reasons are the inherent appeal of such apps, their unique affordances, the ongoing demand for technology integration by educational fraternity, and the proliferation of technology. Unfortunately, such computer software, that is learning apps, do neither come without drawbacks nor do so in future. However, with advancement all the way, the learning app system must emerge and mature with time. The range of issues associated with this ongoing trend. What are the issues? What are the challenges in these days learning apps are facing? The first one is app selection. Because of the proliferation of the apps, there are lots of apps available. The teachers or parents or learner, they don't have enough strategies or enough tools or enough guideline to select the desirable learning app. The second one is problem with collaboration between app developer and educational expert. What is the meaning of this? Uh, uh, the app developers see the learner or the apps in different perspective, and educational experts see the apps or learner in different perspective. So this has been seen. There is a lack of collaboration between the developers and educational expert. And if somehow the evaluation or the tools are available for selection for learning apps, but they are very but they has or they are but they has very length of their evaluation criteria, um, um, 18 to 70. This is very time consuming, and the people don't know how to select or how to use these type of the tools. These have very large list of their evaluation criteria. The next one is availability of the subjective criterion. The pupils, when the teachers or the learners, when they have downloaded their apps, they just sometimes they give their feedback. The feedback in generally the feedback is in subjective manner. they're given the feedback in their own perspective. It may or may not be in logical way. The next one is poor theoretical foundation. The app developer don't have that much theoretical knowledge of educational psychology or pedagogy, or especially about the online learning. That's why this is the problem behind the app developing process. Lots of the developer don't has don't have enough don't have sound theoretical knowledge. And the next one is problem with personal prospectus. Pupils are seeing everything with respect to their personal prospectus. And the last one is app testing. The meaning of this, the meaning of last challenge is this: when the developer is develop the app, before launching their app, they only 2% developers are testing their app before publishing on app store. So this is a very big problem regarding the app learning apps, because the lots of the pupils or lots of the developer don't testing their apps before launching. There are different stakeholders regarding the there are different view of the different stakeholders regarding the current learning apps. The learner see the app only, the learner see the app if the app provide if the app providing them as a entertainment. The primary focus of the learner is on entertainment, but the parent see the learning apps on different perspectives. The parents see if learning app providing the security and and true learning content. Means the parents perspective is on 2 point. The first one is security, the second one is true educational content. But but learner perspective is just only they are selecting the apps, those apps giving the interactive learning content. And the teacher's perspective is different. Teachers see the pedagogic view, teachers see the pedagogic view of these learning apps. And from developer perspectives, developers see concern or see regarding the child engagement and cost. They if the cost is how much cost they can earn, they will see like this. From app's perspectives, competitive nature, multimedia element, short attention span, and immediate rewards. These are the perspectives of the different perspective of all the stakeholders. There appears a need for a thorough, coherent, workable, and design-based strategy. A design of this type must necessarily and methodologically be built around all of the established instructional ingredients. Therefore, we have proposed an architecture based on the object-oriented paradigms as a foundation for instruction in the creation of mobile learning apps, in light of the prime realization of the ample scope for content expert creative independence. Our main emphasis is on the content expert creative independence. We want to propose the system that providing the content expert creative independencies. To accomplish this, we first compile a list of essential app ingredient based on the thorough review of the relevant literature, a qualitative analysis of some learning apps, and other such observations. Literature review. This is the second outline of our today's presentation. Since a few years ago, there has been a significant increase in the development of educational apps. As of January 2013, there were approximately 8 lakh apps available, and educational app ranked as the second most popular category in terms of the download. Later, this number was doubled, and learning apps now account for roughly 16% of all apps in both the App Store. The majority of App Store had only two sort of educational apps: preschoolers and language learning. The developers are emphasizing on the preschoolers learning app and language learning apps. Uh, one of the researcher revealed that preschoolers learning apps cover a major portion of the app market. On the other hand, a slew of concern has been voiced about their learning apps. For example, poor design patterns, particularly in the selection of their instructional element. In light of this, overall we examined several important studies on the learning apps instructional ingredient. The, the first study was proposed by the Green. Green revealed the 7 key instructional design factor for creating an effective app evaluation rubric based on the 4 design cycle and compile them using the science educational app. The list of such ingredients are: the first one is accuracy, the second one is curriculum oriented training, the next one is inquiry and practice, the authenticity, feedback, navigation, and learner friendly instructions. In the similar way, we revealed 7 studies that are closely focusing on our research problem. These research studies are S1 to S9. S1 means study 1 and S9 means study 9. And we proposed we framed a table with 6 columns. The first column, the table has first column related studies, and the next one year of publication. The next one is evaluation tool proposed by included study in the form of rubric or framework. As it is clearly seen here, these are studies S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 to up to S9. This the second column is year of their publication. The next one is tool. What type of the tool they have used in their study? They proposed rubric or framework or guideline or checklist. The scope, the study focusing on what type of the learning scope: K-12, higher education, elementary, pre-elementary, like this. And methodology, what type of the method they used. What type of the method they used, and proposed design parameters, means what type of the parameters or what type of the ingredient they have used. So based on these literature review, we have proposed our instructional ingredient. We have put these ingredient in the upcoming slides. Even though there are a lot of useful studies on learning app design, but we couldn't find a single one that focused on an object-oriented way of designing these apps. We have gone through all of the related literature review on our related research, but we couldn't find even a single one that focused on an object-oriented way of designing these apps. Therefore, the primary objective of our work is to provide an insightful blueprint for the object-oriented paradigm concerning current educational apps. We may be able to forecast better outcomes for future educational app and widen our existing virtual teaching method beyond drill and practice by looking at how the same approach has contributed to other study domain. This is the primary reason behind selecting the object-oriented approach, because object-oriented approach has been successful in other type of the regarding other problems. So by looking the significance of the object-oriented approach in other fields, we have decided to use this this method in learning apps design. Given these facts, it is urgently necessary to develop an object-based design strategy that is comprehensive, logical, and capable of handling all of the necessary app ingredients. These are the challenges the learning apps are facing. The literature review variously refer to the issues of self-proclaimedness. Means some apps are saying they are designed for the educational, but actually they are not. Actually, they don't have educational content. So in this case, we are saying these type of the app as a self-proclaimedness app. App quality. They are suffering from their quality, and poor design methodology, because as we already discussed, the developers don't have enough theoretical knowledge about the psychology, pedagogy, and especially online learning guidelines. Here we are going to incorporate a list of possible obstacles that app developers, teachers, students, app users, and other and their caretakers might face, so that we can consider them when designing new and future educational labs. Why we are discussing these concerns? Because when we will develop our app, we will consider these obstacles in our design. This is the figure that represent the issues regarding the learning app selection process. As we already discussed, app quality. Majority of apps are suffering from their quality. The availability of concrete evaluation guideline. We don't have enough guideline regarding the evaluation. Evaluation means how to select or how to use the already proposed evaluation tools to select the app. We don't have concrete guideline. Collaboration between developers and educationists, it is already seen. Personal prospectus and app testing. App selection. Hardly no suitable app development strategies are specified by the government or other such higher authorities. Hence, problem with app selection and quality are become a common and highly pertinent issues. Quality concern. This is the primary cause behind the abundance of the app in various marketplace. Consequently, the correct selection of the desired application is not a simple task. Moreover, even if an app is chosen for learning purpose, it does not always contribute to the actual learning content. As a result, this problem call into question the quality of existing learning app. Issue of the personal prospectus. Meanwhile, when someone trying to find a list of best app, the majority of us see review or rating systems to use as a guide. It can be difficult to do so because such lists are often compiled based on the author's preferences rather than on scientific facts. This problem is known as the issue of personal prospectus. App testing. Last but not least, those who take a superficial approach to the problem of app testing exhibit unscientific behavior in terms of its test or assessment. Most of the time, these tests are not given in the scholarly setting, which result in poor testing. Theoretical background. As of late, this topic has received a lot of media coverage. Why is it? Why is that? Simply put, the vast majority of educational apps fail to meet the standard set by instructional designers because their designers have lacked necessary educational skills. Because, as we already discussed, developers don't have enough theoretical background or enough foundation skills with respect to online learning. For this reason, we developers or educational expert must work together for better educational results. Research challenges also include the lack of comprehensive, coherent, and concrete evaluation method and techniques for current educational apps. Anything not measurable cannot be controlled. And as we already seen, learning apps are suffering from a proliferation problem because a lots of apps available on App Store. So we don't have enough tools or guidelines to select the desired one. That's why we are saying this. Anything not measurable cannot be controlled. Many such resources existed in the published literature, but the majority of them had serious flaws in terms of validation or usability. Researchers have recently uncovered an issue with the lack of collaboration between app creator and educators. This is the topmost This is the newest issues regarding the learning apps. This is the motivation behind our work. In the light of recent scientific findings, it is becoming increasingly apparent that the majority of the current design policies and other techniques for developing learning apps are ineffective due to the emergence of this newly and inexperienced virtual learning model as an innovative learning paradigm. Because this is the new one, so so we have to work on this new model to become a mature one. So people, there are lots of people, although there are lots of people are working on this model, but even though it is very new and inexperienced, so we need more work. Moreover, developers' background knowledge and numerous other such factors, considering these factors, now can be a good time to suggest or propose a better app design strategy that can prove useful during the app subsequent development. To systematically apply our research argument, we have first compiled a list of essential ingredients for learning apps design and then provided a basic outline for a potential object-based approach to learning app design. Apps ingredient. Before designing our model, we have listed the essential app ingredient. What apps parameters or apps element? What should be the app elements or parameters or ingredient? We used a dual track research strategy to identify potential key component or essential app ingredient of successful educational app design. As shown in table 1, we begin by reviewing the majority of the relevant literature and app design from the perspective that include design ingredient. In the second stage, we analyzed all of the included studies from S1 to S9 and included some advanced literature also. In a conclusion, we offer the list of what we believe to be the such crucial ingredient or component. This is the list of the essential ingredient for learning app design. The first one is clear goal and objective. When we design our learning app, the goal should be clear and objective should be clear. Prerequisite testing or preparation. All the buttons are working, all the things are working in proper way. And the next one is content analysis, classification, and learners' privacy. Content presentation, instructional and user interface, feedback. The most important ingredient is feedback. Motivation and self-directedness, examples, assessment. This is the pictorial representation of all these essential ingredients. As you can see in the previous figure, we have compiled a list of approximately 10 critical criteria that we believe they may be the fundamental ingredients to every app success. Importantly, most of them are approached by several researchers as an app criterion, but no one could include all of them as a together for educational app design purpose. An object-oriented design-based approach is proposed, which has the potential to offer certain advantages over the current practices. This is the primary justification for employing such a app design strategy. It is now appropriate to clarify each key aspect for their basic understanding. What is the clear goal? The primary app ingredient inform us of the clear goal and objective. That is, a true pedagogically sound app must include its learning objective in easy and early phase. And the next one is prerequisite testing. It is focusing on validation of the design learning app target test, which implies if the selected app is working properly or not, whether students or teachers are properly logged in throughout the app, and whether all designed learning modules are working as specified in the curriculum. Content analysis means the structure of content design should be unique amongst face-to-face learning, e-learning, virtual learning. Means content should be unique amongst the three learning paradigms. Furthermore, there are various structural level of content, including the curriculum level, course level, lesson level, and many more. So app designer need to very cautious about the sound knowledge of learning content and their app targeted learner. Presentation strategy. Control the efficient distribution of content throughout the app. A visually perceptual approach get a learner more involved in the learning process than a boring learning presentation material. There are a number of content presentation method exist, but incorporating appropriate one is still becoming a research gap. Instructional strategy. The app instructions should be small in size, user-friendly, learner-centered, and more than just series of moving videos. Parallelly, the user interface design should be ergonomically based. However, we does not cited the ergonomic concept here, but it should be there. Evaluation, which can be both formative or summative. At what place we should take the formative evaluation, at what place we should take the summative evaluation, means where it should be more desirable or more beneficial for our learners. The most memorable aspect of this ingredient are where we should use them and at what level we should use them, at lesson level, unit level, and other level. Based on these learning ingredients, as we have discussed, approximately 10 learning ingredient we have discussed. So based on these learning ingredient, we have suggested an insightful blueprint design for the object-oriented paradigm with regards to contemporary educational applications, on the basis of how the same technique has impacted other study domains such as IEEE learning object-oriented learning design approach, as we have cited. We may be able to predict better outcomes for future educational apps and expand our present virtual teaching process beyond rote memorization learning. Blueprint of our proposed model. This is our blueprint. Experts generally highlight issues concerning effectiveness about current learning apps. Out of them, some major ones are too much gamification, bad tutorials, poor process tracking, no systematic repetitions, absence of standards, and lack of a viable evaluation schemes. As a result, we observe the emergence of several design paradigms having no or little theoretical basis. Even though businesses grow and new tools and technologies are developed, but there is not good app design strategy based on accepted didactics. Realizing this, we suggest a pedagogic object-oriented approach to the design and development of learning app based on an exhaustive literature review, a qualitative analysis of some learning apps, that is what should be included in a genuine learning app, and other such observations. This is the blueprint. These in center, in left hand side, the essential essential app ingredient 1 to 11 means we have took 11 essential app ingredient, and corresponding each ingredient we have one object, and one have there is a one-to-one mapping between the essential app ingredient and objects. So in the right hand side, we there is a figure number 4, implementation approach. So how we will implement it? For every object there are several methods. For example, for example, object 1 is feedback. Feedback have several attributes. For example, feedback can be psychological, feedback can be pedagogic, and so on. So we will define all attributes. First of all, we have to define all the attributes regarding every objects. Then we have to map the every objects, every app's attribute corresponding its method. Means for A1 there is a MI method, for AJ there is a MJ method, and so on. So this is the methods corresponding to every attribute. So we have designed, we have do this process for every objects, or for every essential ingredient. Our model is object-oriented design model for educational apps is constructed as follows. The main idea behind the suggested method is to map each of the app's ingredient to a separate object. Afterward, we use some methods and attribute to express each characteristic of the chosen ingredient in terms of their object as depicted in figure 4. With this diagram, we want to show that an app ingredient can have an attribute from AI to N, and the same N number of methods from MI to MN. We need to map each app's attribute. We have identified feedback as a crucial part of the app's design. Thus, we will be making an object based on this specific element. Additionally, we need to consider feedback from a pedagogical standpoint as the selected ingredient. As its feedback, possible attribute may be positive, negative, immediate, or and so on. Means there are feedback can be positive or feedback can be negative. At what place we should put the positive feedback in our learning app? At what place we should put negative feedback in our learning app, and at what time we should go for immediate feedback, and for other type of the feedback. There are delayed, there is a delayed feedback and other type as well. Therefore, we need some pedagogically sound methods for each attribute. The same process will keep happening until every ingredient has physical object and corresponding pedagogical method that goes with it. In our proposed blueprint, we have selected essential app ingredient 1 to 11. That is why we need a total of 11 different objects and their accompanying pedagogical methods for mapping that much ingredient due to one-to-one mapping between the app attribute and methods of attribute. By looking at how the same approach has contributed to other research fields, we may be able to predict better outcomes for future educational apps and broaden our current virtual teaching that is currently immature and is inexperienced beyond drill and practice learning. And this is the findings of our paper. In the age of apps, there has been a widespread proliferation of learning apps. Almost every educational institution has been affected since the pandemic. The research indicates that such apps are highly effective for the so-called touch screen generation in a variety of contexts. Data on learning apps performance show that they are associated with compelling increase in the student achievement. Recognizing the significance, it is suggested that teachers and other caretakers become involved in this new trend of mobile learning. Despite this, experts generally highlight issues concerning their effectiveness. As a result, we observe the emergence of several design paradigms having no or little theoretical basis. Even though business grow and new tools and technology are developed, there are not good app design strategies based on accepted didactics. Realizing this, we suggested a pedagogic approach based on critical and qualitative review methodology to the design and development of learning app, building on the idea of IEEE learning object and success of the object-oriented paradigms. Current app developers may find the proposed method helpful as they strive to create really instructive and user-friendly apps for digitods students. Realizing this ongoing trend, we suggest a pedagogic methods Oh, sorry, it is repetitive. Other findings. The current learning apps or virtual learning is immature learning paradigm, lack of availability of concrete guideline. The use of mobile app for educational purpose is at early stage because lots of because lots of the institution still not believing on learning apps, so they think it is a secondary it is the secondary option for educational institution. That's why we have put this finding. The uses of mobile apps for educational purpose is at early stage. Availability of unsound, unscientific, inconsistent evaluation tools. Diverse viewpoints of both the parental and children's regarding app selection process. As we have already covered this point, there are four stakeholders. They have different viewpoints viewpoint regarding the apps. Unavailability of apps development strategies. There are lack of strategies available for app development. Inadequate app design standards. Conclusion. This is the last conclusion. An exasperating situation has arisen in the world of educational apps. While everyone wants to get the full benefit from these learning software, but in terms of educational values, the educational community is at a loss as to how to best design them. The current design of learning apps include too much gamification, putting bad tutorials, poor progress tracking strategy, absence of systematic repetition ingredient, absence of standards, and many other such issues. In the light of this, we suggest a pedagogic and object-oriented approach based on following ingredient, as we have already discussed. These are the ingredient as we have included in the list of the essential ingredient list. To the design and development of learning app, building on the idea of IEEE learning object-oriented learning design approach, and the success of the object-oriented paradigm in the other field. In the future, our aim is to develop a comprehensive, logical, and object-oriented design model that capable of handling all of the necessary app ingredient in a scientific way. These are the references. Thank you.